Hello everybody, it's Sunday the 28th of November today, and a much better day than we had yesterday. You may have seen the short episode. We lost power at 1:15 yesterday morning and didn't get it back until 8 o'clock yesterday evening, so it was a long day. It's made slightly better by the fact that we spent the biggest part of the day at mother-in-law's, so at least we had some warmth, and I was able to get a nice fresh cup of coffee, which I sorely missed yesterday morning. Anyway, this is the only real casualty of the wind, other than the power. Maybe it's been in that pot for quite a long time, but there were a few of my trees were blown over. There were no casualties, nothing broken, no pots smashed, so that was great. Now, this isn't going to be one of my tiny mining videos. I haven't run out of them. There are more to come, but today I decided I wanted to work on this Cascade Cotoneaster with exposed root, which I suffered a major disaster with last spring at Repod, and I'll put in a small excerpt of what happened here so that you have an idea. Okay, so at this point in the process I was feeling quite pleased with myself, and I had this nice little Cascade tree which I've been working on for a long time, and then just when you think things are going absolutely fine, you decide to give one last tweak on the wired portion, and boom, disaster strikes. Absolute nightmare. Where do we go from here? Well, as you have seen, the thing to do is to allow the tree to recover. Of course, you can always go back and look at the playlist, which will be linked in the description and in the end screen, but that gives you an idea of where this big scar came from. I don't know how well you can see that. It's not really even begun to heal over yet. That's good. The machinery, wherever that is winding down a little. The tree has spent most of the year firming up in the pot, which means it's been putting out lots of roots into this deep old traditional Cascade pot, rather than putting on a lot of growth, and the only long whippy bits of growth it's put out have been in places that aren't convenient for my end vision of the tree. But what I want to do is bring this top part back into order before I lose that structure entirely. The structure that I had up here, and then hopefully as we try lots of new shoots in the spring in places where I can use them. That's the plan. Okay, so here's a more close-up look at the exposed roots, which I quite like. Wasn't the original plan, but it kind of developed. I kind of like this exposed roots, but I'm hoping that now that the tree is formed up in the pot, I can remove this piece of wire and this stick that were holding the tree up, because it didn't want to stay upright on its own. So first thing I'm going to do is cut that piece of wire, and we'll see if the tree goes for a little wander. No. Excellent, that's good. Further proof, if I needed any, that the tree has in fact firmed up in the pot. That means it's put out lots of roots that will power lots of new growth next year. That often happens when you repot a tree. It will spend a fair bit of time filling the pot with root, and then once it's filled the pot, it'll start growing away from the top better. I've no idea why. I mean, plants in nature don't fill a pot with roots, or don't fill the earth with roots. But there you go. And out there does know why that is the case. Drop me a comment below. Really interested to know. It's something I've often wondered. But it happens with not just bonsai, but general pot plants as well. You'll prune the roots and the plant will sit and fill the pot first before putting on extension growth up top. So I'm just going to start chopping this stuff away, just to try and get back to the original foliage pads that I had before disaster struck. And originally, as you can see, the main body of the tree came down in this direction, and this was a side branch. And it may remain a side branch, it may not, but I'm just going to prune it back as if it was for the time being, just to give it a tidy up for the winter. Okay, so as you can see, that's one pad, and I'll go over and do the rest. So that's a slightly better angle for you, I think. By allowing the tree to grow out as much as I did, we kind of lost a little bit of the structure that we had, but it'll come back over the next couple of years with some judicious pruning here and there. I've left this long piece for now because I was kind of wondering, that's the only branch that's even remotely put out anything that could be adapted into a cascading portion, but I don't think I'm going to use it. I've been looking at it as I've carried on pruning around the tree, and I'm not going to use that. I've made that executive decision now. What I am going to do is shorten this back a little bit more, and shorten that back a little more. It's better. Okay, so that's beginning to give me my interesting tree shape atop. Now, if I'm very lucky, I'll get a bud popping here somewhere that I could train out, or more likely, this piece could be trained down, and instead of this being a branch, I may have to lose some of the structure here and make some individual branchlets, as it were. But we will see how that goes in the spring, or where it shoots from. This chop back will give it an incentive to throw out some new growth all over, and this year I will concentrate on keeping the top trimmed, and that will encourage back budding, and hopefully something will emerge that I can use as a shoot, because it took me 30 years to grow this into a cascade. I haven't got 30 years left in me. I'd like to make it into maybe a semi-cascade. Maybe it could come down like so. Let me turn that more towards the camera, like so, and then I could start training some of these pieces into side branches as opposed to part of a pad. you can imagine that piece missing. Then we've got a branch here and a branch below. So yeah, the disaster was a disaster, but it's not a complete disaster. That's all for this one. I hope you've enjoyed it. As I say, there will be more timey-wimey videos to come, and I will be doing a lot more next year, as people seem to quite like seeing the beginning, middle and end of the process all in one. And yeah, there will still be odd videos like this where I do just a discrete piece of work on a tree, and then we'll have to wait and see what happens. But of course this tree will reappear next year. So thank you very much for watching. Do the YouTube things, you know, you're liking, you're subscribing, you're commenting. Let me know what you think. And most of all, most importantly, please do take care of yourselves. Stay safe, everybody.